It's 3:14 in the morning. You're staring at the ceiling. Your phone is face down on the nightstand, but you already know what it would say if you turned it over, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a single thought keeps repeating, something is wrong with you. But the real answer is far stranger. For most of human history, this exact moment, wide awake in total darkness, heart steady, mind drifting, wasn't a malfunction at all. It was simply Tuesday, or rather, it was every night, for tens of thousands of years. So what changed? And more importantly, what were your ancestors actually doing, lying awake in the dark, long before clocks, phones, or even candles existed? To answer that, you have to go back before electric light existed at all, which, for nearly the entire span of human existence, was every single night, every single year, forever. The historian A. Roger E. Kirch spent years digging through old diaries, court depositions, medical texts, and literature from pre-industrial Europe. And he kept finding the same strange phrase over and over. People described two sleeps. They called them first sleep and second sleep. Here's how it worked. As darkness fell, people went to bed, often just a few hours after sunset. They slept for 3 or 4 hours. And then they woke up, not in a panic, not checking a clock that didn't exist, just awake, in the dark, wide awake in the middle of the night, as if on schedule. And what did they do with that time? They got up. They poked at the embers of the fire and added more wood. They talked quietly in low voices with whoever else in the house happened to be awake too. Some prayed, some told stories, the kind that only seemed to make sense in the dead of night. Physicians of the era even wrote that this was the ideal time for couples to conceive, when the body was rested but the mind was calm and unhurried. Some people did nothing at all. They just lay there, somewhere between dreaming and waking, letting their thoughts drift without judgment. After an hour or two like this, people slipped back into second sleep and woke again near dawn, ready for the day. Doesn't that sound almost peaceful? What's most telling is how a Kirch found this pattern described. Nobody explained it because nobody needed to. People mentioned first sleep the way you might mention lunch, a normal part of the day that didn't require justification. So here's a question worth sitting with. If waking in the night used to be this unremarkable, this boring, even, why does it feel like a 5-alarm crisis to you now? And then, within the span of a few generations, this pattern simply vanished. As gas lighting spread through cities in the 19th century and electric light followed soon after, bedtimes crept later and later. The long stretch of enforced darkness that used to split the night into 2 sleeps quietly disappeared. By the time electric light reached most homes, almost nobody remembered that 2 sleeps had ever been normal at all. The pattern hadn't broken. The conditions that produced it had. Part of the answer is light, or rather, the staggering amount of darkness your ancestors lived inside. In winter, across much of Europe and northern Asia, the night could stretch for 14 hours or more. The human body, left in that much darkness with nothing to do, doesn't sleep for 14 hours straight. It can't. So it splits the time. Sleep, wake, rest, sleep again. 2 sleeps fit naturally into one very long night. But there's another layer to this, one that goes back even further than candlelit cottages in pre-industrial Europe. For almost all of human history, sleep wasn't only a biological event. It was a social one, and a dangerous one. The anthropologist Carol Worthman, who has spent decades studying sleep among small-scale societies, has documented something that modern bedrooms have erased almost completely. In many traditional communities, people slept in groups, around a fire, with someone, at almost any given moment, semi-awake. Why would that matter so much? Because for most of human evolution, the dark wasn't just empty. It was where the predators were. A group that slept in one deep, synchronized block, all at once, with nobody alert, was a group that wouldn't survive very long. Some level of fragmented, staggered wakefulness wasn't a flaw in the system. It was the system. Someone tending the fire. Someone half listening for movement in the brush. Someone shifting a sleeping child onto a different hip. The watch never fully ended. It just rotated quietly, person to person, through the night. In some of these communities, infants and young children slept pressed against an adult's body for years, not months, waking frequently to nurse, to be soothed, or simply to be repositioned. None of this was treated as a disruption. It was simply what nighttime looked like, for everyone, for the entire span of childhood and well beyond.